Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar, popping my collar, popping my collar. Ever since I can remember, I've been working these, then they better put.
Welcome back, Crusher Maniacs. Today, we get to talk to Pablo Popovitch, legend, especially in no-gi grappling, ADCC champion, IBJJF World Champion, and Pan American Champion. He is a legend. And I got to train with him in the mid-2000s. And I got to see a different side of Pablo Popovitch than a lot of people do. And I'm looking to bring a little bit of that to you. Sit back and enjoy part one of this interview. Pablo Popovitch. Finally get a chance to sit down with the Crusher. So Pablo, you've had some legendary fights, some legendary rivalries.
Sure.
Guys like Marcelo Garcia, Diego Sanchez, Romulo, Galvao. Which one of those would you consider be your toughest rival?
Probably Marcelo Garcia. We did 2 finals in Abu Dhabi. You know, he won the first 2. I won the last one. So I'm happy about that one. I won the last time we met. Fortunately, he stayed at that 170 pound. I went up weight to fight the other weight division. That's probably the weight division I'm gonna fight this year. But man, I had a blast with him. We had wars, legendary wars. You know, fought Galvao too. I beat him in 2007. He got me in 2011. You know, looking forward to fighting him again. But all those guys are tough guys. But probably Marcelo Garcia was, you know, most memorable fight. I trained really hard to beat that guy, and I finally beat him, and I was happy. You know.
Well, talk to me about that, Pablo. It's funny because from my perspective, I was here training with you. Before I think you went to fight him the second time, and you know, and I wasn't here when you went and beat him the third time. What are the things that you changed in your training or in your approach to go back and to beat him?
I just was aggressive because before, the first time it sucked because I was really sick, and I got on the second day Abu Dhabi, you know, I wasn't feeling well at all. The second time, I was trying to pace myself for the first 10 minutes because of the format of the tournament. And he caught me. Now, Marcelo is dangerous, man. If you leave any openings for him, you capitalize on it, he's going to catch you. And the third time, I was like, man, I'm just going to go at it. You know, I don't get tired. I train hard. So I'm like, let's go at it. I started the fight. I immediately took him down. We just went it back and forth, you know, trying to pass him. He swept me. I swept him back and forward. And in the end, I passed the guard. So that was the difference, you know. I went after the guy. Nobody goes after him. So I was finally like, man, it's all or nothing. And I beat him.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting, too, because I was here training with you when you, after you fought Diego Sanchez the first time, and you went back and you beat him. And that was one of the things that I always admired about you was the way that you were so dissatisfied with being second place or losing, but and you trained really hard. But you didn't take it out on the people around you or your training partners or anything like that. I mean, you were just always the same guy. You know, talk to me about your philosophy on competition and on being the best.
Man, to be the best, you gotta take every experience as a process that one day it's gonna make you better. You know what I mean? You win a match, you happy, but you can always train more. You lose a match, you got to see what you did wrong, you know, and make yourself better. And train harder, and that's what I do. From, you know, I look at my match that I lose, that I win, and I can always take something out of it. But I'm not a quitter, you know. So one guy beats me today, I'm sure, man, I'm gonna train really hard to beat him one day, because that's just the way I am. That's how my parents raised me to have, you know, I'm never gonna quit anything in my life. You know? That's why. Some people, you know, if they want my shoes, like the example of Marcelo Garcia, you go in, fight the guy one time, fight him second time, you lose, and then a lot of people will give up.
Right.
But I didn't give up. I went in and went at the guy and I beat him. So that's the winner mentality. You always take something out of a match. You're winning and losing, and you make yourself better. And that's what I do. So.
Well, you talked a little bit about the ADCC. You're IBJJF World Champion as well. What are the differences between the two organizations in terms of the tournaments, ADCC, IBJJF?
I mean, the rules are totally different. IBJJF, they had so many different things going on. I mean, they change the rules all the time. You don't know what the rules are. I mean, I don't know what the rules are right now. You know, they have a whole book. You got to read the book. Abu Dhabi, I've been fighting Abu Dhabi since 2003. They never changed the rules. You know, it seems like I have to take a course to understand what the IBJJF rules are. And that's crazy. You know, so it's always changed. To me, that's the biggest. If I don't mind fighting different rules, as long as I know what they are, but if you're changing them all the time and you have a thick book like this, and you expect people to read it, I mean, that's crazy, man. You know, so I don't know.
Well, speaking of the IBJJF, now they're instituting drug testing, right? You know, for I think it's random 10 random black belt medalists. What are your thoughts on the drug testing in sport jiu-jitsu, particularly the IBJJF?
Hey, man, I think it's crazy. Not because of the drug testing, because I'm fine with it. It's just because, you know, you're paying to go to a tournament, so you're actually spending your own money to travel. Like me, I live in Florida. I got to buy a plane ticket. I got to train for 3 months. You know, at my level, I got to train for 3 months. I'm not going to train for a week and go do a tournament. I think I'm going to get killed there. And then I go to a tournament, you know, that I'm paying everything, and I get there, I got to get tested. You know, all of a sudden I got to get tested. So to me, it doesn't make any sense. I think the first thing they should do is, first of all, pay the athletes. You know what I mean? Nobody's getting paid. You got a sport like, you know, any other sport, people make a lot of money. They're making money. They're getting tested. I don't mind getting tested, man, if I'm getting paid about it. Come on, I got to pay to get tested? That's crazy. So I think they should prioritize a couple of things before they think about drug testing people, man. It's crazy. Another thing I don't agree is you're not going to test from white to brown belt, right? So from white to brown belt, you can juice as much as you want.
Right, right.
And then you get to the black belt level, you can't do it anymore.
Right. Because
now you're getting tested.
Right.
You know what I mean? So IBJJF contradicts itself all the time. It's crazy. I mean, I don't understand those guys. You know, I don't get the disqualification of the knee whipping. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, you have athletes from all over the world spending money, training hard. They go to the tournament and have a match, and all of a sudden, because they move, you know, in the heat of the match, man, sometimes you just put your foot across the hip and you get disqualified. It's crazy. Yes. Yep. And then you send the guy back home. You send the guy back home to Germany. Like I saw a guy crying after a match because he was training so hard, and he came all the way from Germany to do this tournament, and then by just quick movement, whatever, he put his foot there, he got DQ, and he was winning the fight. I mean, that's not fair for the athletes. So I don't agree with it. You know, I think if they want to do it, they gotta make it more professional. There's other areas of improvement they need to make. One being the rules. You can't change the rules every year. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and you speak really highly of the ADCC, and you're going back now, and you talked about Galvao a little bit. You had some tough matches with him last time, and then the time before. Right. You looking forward to going back? Are you planning on competing in the absolute again and trying to win that? Yeah. Is that one of the reasons you went up in weight, to compete in the absolute division?
Yeah, man. With me, always been like this. I go, I win my weight, and people say, Pablo doesn't fight the absolutes, because I got to fight 170. I always walk around about 182, 183. You know, when I fought ADCC in 2011, that's how much I weighed. I weighed 183. When I fought Marcelo in 2009 at the 170-pound division, I was 177. You know, but the problem is when I'm 177, cutting from like 182, 183, after the matches, I feel weak, I feel tired, and I don't want to compete. Now, what I'm trying to do is, and that's what I did over the years, because people were saying that I didn't want to do the absolutes, is I gained weight. So I walk around now about 185, 187. And I won a lot of absolutes, you know, but that's why I didn't want to do the 170 anymore. Because I win my division, people are not satisfied. So now I got to win the absolutes to make people happy, you know. But, you know, it's just something new to do.
Well, speaking of something new to do, I know you fought MMA, mixed martial arts, and you won. Talk to me about that experience.
Man, MMA. MMA is fun, but to a high-level jiu-jitsu guy, it's kind of hard, because I got to train kickboxing, I got to train boxing, and man, I was born doing jiu-jitsu. I've been doing jiu-jitsu since I was 4. You know, so to tell me, I can only train jiu-jitsu 3 times a week, and I gotta train boxing, and then, I mean, I wrestle all the time too. Boxing, kickboxing, and then work with this, work with that, man. It doesn't make me happy. What makes me happy is jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is my first love. That's what I started doing it. You know, I love jiu-jitsu so much. It's hard for me to just switch things around and start doing MMA. And I feel like a lot of jiu-jitsu guys feel the same way. You know, I don't want to do MMA, let's put it this way, just because of the money. You know, I do jiu-jitsu because I love jiu-jitsu. You go to a tournament, I go compete at IBJJF, I make no money. You know, they don't pay me any money. Why do I do it? Because I love it. You know, that's why I didn't pursue MMA. You know, I thought it was fun. You know, I fought at the Hard Rock, a lot of people watching and stuff like that. I got a kick out of it. But that was it. You know, the next day I want to go back to training jiu-jitsu. You know,
and you won the second round, right? Finished the second round.
I finished the guy on the second round.
Yeah, that's awesome. I remember years ago we joked around. You said you were too pretty to get hit in the face.
That's what they say. I didn't say that.
Well, you know, you talked about growing up doing jiu-jitsu. Who are some of the people who influenced you in your style coming up?
Oh man, I mean, I grew up, you know, like Saulo Ribeiro. I like the way he thinks. You know, it's my game. If you look at, if you watch me train at the academy, I train one way. If you watch me compete, I compete completely differently because I feel like I have a very smart game, complete game. You know, I can wrestle, I can pass, I can guard, but I play off my opponent's weakness. You know what I mean? So that's Saulo. I see Saulo. I said Royler Gracie. The way they competed, they have strategy. You know, they compete with strategy. They don't go crazy. Even though if you watch my highlights when I was younger, at like 20, 21, I was pulling guard, doing arm bars and all kind of crazy stuff. And I remember that one match in particular I lost, and I was winning the match because I was trying to, at all costs, submit a guy, and the guy was high level guy, and I could have won that match if I was playing strategy, but I didn't. And from that moment on, I was like, man, I gotta use jiu-jitsu like chess. You know, it's not, you don't fight the guy like a maniac. You gotta play a strategy and do what you do best and just win it. The goal is to win. You know, every sport, the goal is to win. You watch basketball, you know, you got the coach, he calls timeout, the goal is to win. You know, so that's the way I think when I'm competing.
You talk a little bit about when you're coming up, and I remember hearing your name coming up, Pablo Popovitch. I thought you were Russian, you know, coming up, and then you were winning all these tournaments before the Abu Dhabi got big, before even no-gi grappling was huge. You were winning a lot of tournaments, and your name was out there. What was that like? Talk to me about those early days before you could just jump on YouTube and see anybody compete.
Man, I was just trying to make it big one day. And like I said, I love the sport. I love competing. You know, I still love to compete. Right now, I'm spending a lot of time with my students, my school, watching my students compete and learn. It gives me the same joy. Right? But you know, as growing up in those small tournaments, it was just a preparation for something big. You know, like winning a world championship or Abu Dhabi. You know, my goal was always to win Abu Dhabi. I love that tournament. First time I watched that tournament, Jan-Jacques Machado tapping everybody, I was like, man, I got to win that tournament. And I did win it that year. You know, I've been to the finals 3 times. I still want to win at least one more time. You know, let's hope this year I win it. But I'm going to train hard. I'm going to do my best. But like I said, you know, it's small beginnings for something big one day.
I hope you enjoyed part 1 of that interview with Pablo. Look for part 2 soon. Following this will be some information on Pablo online as well as his academy. I'll see you soon, Crusher Maniacs.
Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar, popping my collar, popping my collar. Ever since I can remember, I've been working these. Then they better put my money in my hand. Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar.